thing this is and how cool it is that we can all do this. And you really don't need to put money into it. You just need to have an idea and want to talk to other people. And it's such a supportive community. And just, as you know, people from all over the world are connecting every day just to talk. And I think, not to toot our own horn, but we're kind of breaking down a lot of barriers. I'm learning a tremendous amount about different cultures, different ideas, people that I thought I wouldn't get along with that I'm now very good friends with. How do you see it impacting mainstream media in the next, say, 5 years? Because I know Joe Rogan was doing this 10 years ago, but 10 years ago nobody was listening.
Oh, hang on, we just lost him.
I really didn't mean to offend him that bad.
No, his screen froze, and I think he just, his thing shut down.
Skype sucks.
Yeah, fuck Skype. You gotta get something.
I am not a fan. We've been having a lot of problems lately. I think the three-way doesn't work.
You know that's usually true in most life too.
I'm gonna hang on. If I lose you, Gord, bear with me here.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, no, I didn't lose you. I just lost him. This is starting to really make me mad. We're gonna have to find something better than Skype. I have a tremendous amount of background noise too.
Coming from your side or my side?
Who knows? I'm gonna try this again.
I got utter silence in my room.
I'm trying to call him again, and we'll see what happens here. Sorry, everyone who's listening live, but you're used to it. Let's be honest.
There we go.
We have him back. Sorry, but I'm not sure what happened. I was just saying to Gord, I'm not sure Skype is the best.
It's not the platform I prefer. I use Zoom for most of mine because if you have more than 3 people on it, you do have to pay for the platform. But if you're just interviewing 2 people, it is free, and it is crystal clear video and crystal clear audio. And it'll actually everything and just send it to both of you in files.
We started with Zoom. I don't know why I decided to switch. It was just an arbitrary decision I made for no apparent reason, and it's caused me nothing but heartache.
We had one issue once with it. I think that's why for some reason we couldn't link a conversation together between me and you. And then you're like, oh, fuck this thing. We're going over to fucking Skype.
See, in Skype, I've never had any luck with. I've dropped every one of my interviews doing this because I've had a few people that, like in Australia, they'll be like, oh, I only use Skype. And I'm like, oh, God, please, why this one?
So I don't know if you heard the last question there. I was just saying, sure, Joe Rogan's been doing this for 10 years, but 10 years ago, no one was listening either. Do you see it? I personally, podcasting has become my number one source of information and entertainment. Do you see it really making an impact in media?
Yes, absolutely. 10 years ago, when I first started, we wouldn't be doing this right now. We'd have to be calling each other, figuring out how the hell we're going to tie these phones into a computer to record the conversation. Skype barely worked. It was so glitchy. There was no Hangouts back then, Google Hangouts. There wasn't any other services like freeconferencecall.com or Zoom or all these things. And so it was a pain in the ass to have actual guests on. Now, if you were just recording between you and somebody else, you just needed a stupid Xbox microphone or one of those USB plug-in microphones and you were good to go. I think as far as the quality of the podcast that we're getting out into the public now has jumped exponentially because now people are a lot of podcasts are judged on how they sound now. They want that audio quality. And I had some issues when I first got started because I dug out my old mics and was like, I'm going to do this off my old stuff. And I recorded it, and I'm like, oh, these sound like crap. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up, like I said, I wish somebody had told me you didn't have to put money in this because I did.
Yeah. I had the opposite problem. I've never been I've never kept this a secret. I was going through a very rough time financially in the last couple of years, but this was something I just wanted to do, and I just picked up a cell phone and started doing it. I didn't know at the time that there was this audio, this need to sound good. I just did it, and we developed a following. I think ultimately there's the purists who think the sound has to be perfect, and then there's the group that just wants to hear a good show, and I liken it to AM radio. It always sounds terrible, but I still love it.
Yeah, and that's where I fall in on this. And I tell this to people all the time. I'm doing a whole creator series on YouTube, and I'm telling them, look, you don't have to have the badass Canon cameras. Go pick you up a 1080p webcam for $20 on Amazon. Record it from your iPhone. We carry around probably one of the most powerful computers and video components in the world in our pocket on a daily basis. It shoots 4K Ultra.
Yeah.
So I tell people all the time, look, you want to start a YouTube channel? Great. You can start it all from your phone. If you want your audio to sound a little better, go pick you up a little $20 lav mic, and you're good to go.
My favorite clip of someone in the media is Steve Jobs, and probably I think it's like 1985, saying, "Oh, 500K is all the storage anyone's ever going to need. That is massive."
Yeah,
I got 3 terabytes of music.
Yeah,
I posted one video. When was it? Sunday night to YouTube, 6 gigabytes.
Oh,
jeez,
just the one.
So yeah, my system here at the house, I've got a terabyte laptop. I've got another 5 terabytes over here. I got another 10 terabytes over there, and yeah, I'm pushing it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hear you there. That's hilarious.
So I gotta ask, just because for the future of our show, are you anywhere near Harris County?
Actually, I'm about 45-minute drive from Harris County.
Shut the fuck up. Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we got questions.
It is, we get a lot of American news up here, obviously, because nothing happens in Canada, so we can't watch our own news. It's horrifically boring. But Gord turned us on to just this Harris County Sheriff's Office, which is just, they're like, they could have a movie.
I came across this one article, and it was about a shooting or some shit that happened. And the interview with the sheriff of the Harris County Sheriff Department, do you remember his name, Eric? I can't remember the top of my head.
That'd be Sheriff Ed Gonzalez.
Ed Gonzalez, that's our boy. And he was one of those guys where he points out the most obvious and redundant statements, like, the guy is missing, we're not sure if he's still around or not. You know, sort of thing. Like, it's just a horrible example, but
we're pretty sure the deceased were alive prior to being killed. Was something to that effect?
That's like that news anchor that came on and said the house fire killed 6 people because they caught on fire. The fire was too hot and they probably died from the heat.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And so we laughed about this, and then it was about like a few days later, something else had happened, and this same fucking guy comes up and does another interview and does the same thing. It says another completely redundant statement, and we've just fallen in love and said, that's it. We need to call them, and we need to talk to somebody.
Still negotiating that. They still have a lot of questions before they're willing to come on our show. But is all of Texas this exciting? Like, these guys, they had a drive-by shooting on a rap video set. They had their first Sikh sheriff. He was shot in the back, like, within weeks of starting the job.
I heard about that.
Wasn't something about a prison break? You know, what was it, a prison break or some shit? I can't remember what the other one was.
Well, you were reading the Yelp reviews of the jail. And,
yeah, that was amazing.
Oh, there are literally signs when you go into Harris County. As you're pulling in, it says, "Warning, there is a prison here. Please do not pick up hitchhikers."
That's the kind of proactive police work we need up here.
Do we have problems with your inmates leaving when they want to?
Apparently,
I mean, like,
the number one complaint with the inmates is rape.
And not by other inmates.
No, yeah, and that I do believe, because that is something that happens, especially with the privatized, all these privatized prisons that are throughout the United States right now. We get a lot of issues where the guards are taking advantage of these inmates that are in there, taking their commissary. Hey, you want this back? You got to suck me off or something like that. And it's like,
God, that is terrifying. And,
wow.
And it is, as far as I know, like, I spent some time in Fort Worth 20 years ago. And back then, like, if you lit a joint, it was 10 years in jail. Is Texas still pretty pretty strict?
I've actually done several shows on this because I actually had one of the largest hemp manufacturers in the United States on my show. And Texas is still one of the states that has not decriminalized legal use of marijuana. We did about 6 months ago. Governor Abbott finally did sign off because of the pushback to make CBD products legal across the state and also allowing farmers to grow industrial grade hemp here. And I don't know if you know anything about the industrial grade hemp. It's got less than 0.03% THC in it, so it's mainly used for extracting the CBD oils, and then afterwards taking the pulp and using it as like textile products.
Absolutely, it's one of the greatest things ever discovered by man, without a doubt.
Which is why the textile industry is trying to keep it down, because you tell them that you can replace cotton with something that's going to last for basically your entire life, and it's a whole industry go out of business.
Like the early 1900s, whenever it was criminalized across the board in the United States, it was a congressman that stood up on the floor of Congress and told them, because at this point they were trying to figure out, should we decriminalize it? Should we make it totally legal? Should we make it a class 1 drug and all this other stuff? And it was a congressman stood up on the floor of Congress and told all of Congress, he said, black men smoke this and rape white women.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
That's exactly right. That's the actual history of the prohibition of weed. That's hilarious.
And we're finding out that cannabis itself, specifically like the CBD oils, are medicinally so they interact with the human body has a natural endocannabinoid system that perfectly interacts with the cannabis plant.
Yes.
To fix ailments and things of that nature in your body. And so the rest of the world has figured this crap out. The United States hasn't. I think Texas right now is one of 13 states in the United States that has not decriminalized yet. But talking to this individual and her husband is the one that's actually the hemp farmer. Her Otakata Kletke is her name. She's written several books on this, and her and her husband both agree that within the next couple of years, it's going to be decriminalized across the board on the United States. We've already got a federal bill in right now to remove it from the Schedule 1, which would basically put it at the same classification as alcohol. So at that point, they're going to really have no choice, because federally it's going to be legal. So all the states are going to have to fall in line. But yeah,
that just makes sense, because like in Canada, it's legal now. And for where I am in Vancouver, it's completely legal, and there's a thriving industry. Washington State, completely legal, that's a thriving industry, but we can't work with each other because we can't cross the border with it, because federally in the U.S.
And the tax revenue that can come in to actually do beneficial things for society. Colorado had $5.4 billion in tax revenue that came in off of just the sale of legal marijuana products, and they started giving people tax refunds on that, and then they still couldn't get rid of all the money. It was in surplus, so they decided, you know what, we're going to build homeless shelters with it.
Yeah, I know that the very first year they gave something like $20-something million to a bunch of local schools, just because they had all this bang for buck. Now the funny thing is that's one state that did all that. Ontario, Canada, which is like the most populated, centralized to the whole fucking country, and they think that it's the center of the whole world, is what Ontarians think. The first year that Canada legalized weed, in the first year, Ontario lost money.